This video is going to be about accommodation, which is a very important role in your immigration life. Just like my immigration story says, after you've immigrated to a particular destination, you have to look for a house of your own, an apartment of your own. So stay tuned and catch all the information you can get. Let's get in. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your favorite boy Frank Ekwani here again. If you're a returning subscriber, I say thank you so much for coming back. Thank you so much for sticking to this channel. And if you're new, join the family. You're welcome. We're cool here. Here is where it happens. So today's video is going to be a very informative video, just like I said in my immigration story. Which you immigrate to a new destination, you will surely want a place to lay your head. This is why accommodation is very accommodation is one of the most important things. Like when you're getting to a new destination, it is freaking very important. Some accommodation plans apply to some countries while some don't. Now let's get into different types of accommodation options we have here in Canada or even in North America. One is the homestay. The homestay is a type of accommodation plan which is approved by your educational institution even before you get into a particular country. I know that most of the times in Africa, homestay doesn't really work in that sense, but here in Canada or even in America, in the UK, in different parts of Europe and North America, homestay is actually one of the accommodation plans we can get. You have to actually apply homestay few months before you come into the country. It must even be from your educational institution because it is very advisable. It's not too advisable for you to come into a country where you don't know anybody and you just want to get into the homestay program here, because if your educational institution approves any family or any house which you have to stay to, you know that you have at least a backup. They cannot just refer you to anybody and say, okay, go and stay with that particular person. It doesn't work that way. So when you land in Canada, you probably want to get an Airbnb, maybe from the airport, or maybe you must have already ordered a day or two before you arrive out. An Airbnb, just like hotels we have back home. So you could stay in an Airbnb for a week or two, depending on how long you booked for or how much you have that you wanted to book for. That a week or two stay in Airbnb can give you the opportunity for you to explore the whole city, to go around and try to know about the housing options in any part of the country you are in. Airbnb is quite an important aspect of your journey because not everyone tends to get a house immediately they arrive. It takes even more than the 2 weeks that they planned it was going to be sufficient for them. It takes more than that because housing too is not easy, just same way jobs too aren't too easy to get in that sense. If you apply for a homestay, there's really no need of getting an Airbnb because when you apply for a homestays, most of them usually comes with airport pickup. So whenever you apply for your homestay from your educational institution, they can pick you from the airport and take you to the particular house or whatever you guys budgeted. So Airbnb isn't really important when it comes to home. In a homestay, you're likely to be placed with an immigrant family or a Canadian citizen who have been here for like quite some time. So you get a private bedroom, you get 3 meals per day, sometimes 2 meals per day. You also get internet, you also get some other features inclusive of it. You also get some advantages of trying to explore the city with them, but it is in a secluded type of environment, which I don't really encourage anyone to do. Homestay ranges between 700 to 950 Canadian dollars monthly, which is this price varies. So this is mostly what you find in the province of Manitoba. When you go to provinces like Ontario and British Columbia, there might be slight differences, but this is like a range. It varies. It's never a constant price. So this amount you pay covers the meals per day, covers the internet bill, the light bill, whatever you use in the house where you stay will be paid for. In some cases, it even gets to the extent of even covering your grocery shopping, whereby you give them you pay the monthly fee. So whenever they do grocery shopping, they do the grocery shopping together for everyone. Getting to this particular type of accommodation plan, you also need to pay the admin fee, the administration fee, and the application fee The application fee is what you pay in the school, where the administration fee also comes together with it. I really don't know much about Homestay because I'm not too interested in that type of accommodation plan. Now, the next on the list is student residence. Student residence is common in most parts of the world. Each school in almost every part of the world has his or her own student residence, which students come to pay for, because it has some advantages, like it being very close to the campus. It's less stress-free. It has its own advantages and disadvantages. In the University of Manitoba, we have 4 types of residence. One is the Pembina Hall residence, the second is the Attorville Moreau residence, the third is the UCR, which is the University College residence, and the fourth is the Mary Speechley Hall residence. All these residents are being occupied, and sometimes it is even very hard for you to see a space. That is why it is mostly advisable for you to apply very, very early, so you can actually secure a space, secure a room or two. It depends on what you want. They have 2 types of options when it comes to student residence. They have the full package single room and the full package double room, something like that. Full package means it comes with the meal, the room, and some other facilities, the internet and some other things. Then the full package double means it comes with the meal and double, like I think it's like 2 bed in a particular room. Student residence is another good type of accommodation plan, but for some people who come and wouldn't want to spend much, student residence is not too advisable for you. In other parts of the world, like America and they also have student residence in each of the universities. It is almost everywhere, but it is an expensive type of accommodation plan. The third is the condominium, which is also a short form for condos. Condos are private residence owned by an individual that are split in units or by townhouses in a particular building. Condos are quite often here in Manitoba and also other parts of the world. So condos are actually a very good type of accommodation plan. The next accommodation plan I have here is the basement. Basements are quite similar to the homestay. The only difference between basement and the homestay is in the basement you still get to stay with a family or 1 or 2, and basements don't have another entrance of its own. You use the same entrance as the people staying in the main part of the house. In the homestay, you are likely to get a room in the building, not underground, because basements are, from the name basement, you should know that it's something fixed underground. Advantages of basements are it is slightly cheaper than homestay, but it has lots of disadvantages that comes with it. In a basement, there is no much of silence in a basement. Whatever happens on top of the building, you must surely hear a record or a sound of it from your own end. If they are stamping their feet on top of that apartment, it is also hitting your own apartment. So basement has a type of privacy that comes with noise. You could stay alone in the basement, but the noise that comes with it is as if you are staying with 5 different people. Basement is not something that people stay for long. I know a lot of people that stay in basement, but the number one thing that drives them out from the basement is the noise. Noise is an enemy of basement type of accommodation plan. Basement here in Manitoba also ranges from 400 to about 500 thereabout. These prices are never fixed, they vary. Whatever I say does not mean that is the particular price. I'm only talking based on some of the basements I've seen, and some of my friends who have told me their experiences in basements. So whenever I mention a particular price range, don't think, okay, that is actually the price, and if you don't see it, you know, say, Mr. Frank has said something else. These prices are not fixed, they actually vary. You might see something even lesser, you might see something quite more expensive. Another type of housing which is so common in every part of the world, as in it is so common in every part of the world, is what we call family and friends type of housing. This is one of the best if you want to save money, because you come into the country without any problem. In fact, before you even land, your family or friend or relative is already waiting for you at the airport. They take you to their house, where I'm sure every family or relative always want to keep you in a more safe and enjoyable environment. So for me, if I'm the type of person that came into University of Manitoba with family and friend type of housing, I won't get to pay anything. But I've heard in some cases that some family and friends, relatives actually collect some money from whoever they are bringing, like friends and relatives, not family, because no family want to collect money from you. You can't say your and maybe some people, I don't know, I don't know how everybody's family or relatives are different, but for my own, I know that if I have a relative or family and friend type of housing in Manitoba, I'm not going to be paying a dime. But some people tend to pay very little. People that pay, they actually pay a very small amount of money compared to people that pay for normal housing. So family and friends is the type of accommodation plan that helps you save enough, because if a normal person is paying 500 or 550 for a particular apartment and you are paying 200, 150 just to support whoever is the relative in the particular housing, it is still okay by, because when you start working, you are going to make ×3 of whatever you are actually paying any family or friend. Family and friend is also a good type of housing, but it is with no privacy. There are so many types of relatives, of family and friends in that sense, that always monitor your movement. Hey, coming from back home, if I had a family and friend here in Manitoba, it would be to my own disadvantage. I might not pay anything quite alright, but I will not have the slightest type of privacy. For some families, it differs. You can have all the time of the world. You can't even say you want to go party out at 10 p.m. because they're always watching you. Any little thing they can threaten you with, you are behaving this way, I will call your daddy and mom, for all kind of things. So family and friends comes with no privacy. It comes with no fee, but at the same time no privacy. And there are some people in this life that value their privacy a lot. Some use the extent of their privacy to even move out from a free apartment and go to a place where they can at least, even if they don't pay much, they can at least pay a little and still know that yes, if they come by 3 a.m. no one is going to question them. If they do anything they like in that house, no one. If they bring anybody that they want to bring in that house, no one is going to question them. Another type of housing we have here, or we have in all parts of the world, is a very, very popular type of housing. This is, I can categorically say, this is the most used or the most efficient type of housing in the whole world, which is the apartment. Is the type of housing whereby you can either take a 1-bedroom apartment or a 2-bedroom apartment, depending on if you feel like having a roommate. That doesn't stop your privacy, but 2-bedroom apartment too are very nice. 1-bedroom apartment too is very okay, but it all depends on what you want for yourself, how you want to plan your whole social life in that aspect. So apartments here are one of the best and one of the most used type of accommodation plan you can find anywhere in the world. Just like back home in Nigeria or in Africa, they usually call it hostels, lodges, 1-room self-contained, a room and parlor, 2 rooms and parlor, 3 rooms and parlor. It has different types of name back home, but 1-room self-contained, a room and parlor, 1-room bedroom and contained, they are all still private housing, because like the name says, self-contained, you are just for you and you alone. So apartments are very, very nice, and one of the best and the most advisable. In fact, I'm even going to advise my enemy to take apartment. Apartments ranges from 1,000 to 1,500. Like I said again, these prices varies. You can see something more expensive than that. You can see something within this range bracket. You can see something lower than that. It all depends. The 1,000 to 1,005 is I've mostly seen for 2-bedroom apartment, whereby you have a roommate and you guys intend to split the price into 500. You can have a roommate, you pay 1,500, you tend to split the price into 750, into 700, 600. It all depends on the agreement, the co-signer, or whoever you are doing your accommodation process or papers with. Also, the 1-bedroom apartment you can also get for about ranges from like 400 to about 700 or 800, depending on the type of house, depending on the location, because location also matters. If you get a 1-bedroom apartment in the city center or downtown, it will be more expensive than getting an apartment uptown or somewhere that is not slightly remote, like a slightly remote area. Will be cheaper than getting an apartment in the city center or in downtown. So guys, all these here are the list of apartments. There are some other, but these are the most important ones that you need to know. Most of you guys going to watch this video will most likely go with the apartment or the private housing, which in my own opinion if I want to advise anybody, that is the best. But some people come into the country and they move straight to family and friend type of housing plan. Then after they stay for like 2 months, then they move to the apartment or the private type of housing. Someone like me, I wouldn't like staying in a place where you cook for me, because you might not cook what I like, or even if you cook what I like, you might not cook it to the taste at which I want. So I already dealt with that in the boarding school where I was, so I'm not ready to face that in the university again. If I would say I want to plan anything accommodation in any country I'm going to, first I'll look at the country. If it is a country that has the family and friend type of accommodation plan, then I will go for that one, go to the apartment or private housing plan. So a total recap here: coming to the country as a new immigrant with not knowing anybody, the first and your best bet should be an Airbnb or a homestay. Airbnb can be booked 2 days or 3 days before you arrive to that country. The homestay will be from your educational institution few months before you get into the country. Another option for you is a condominium, a short form from condo. You also have the student residence, you also have the apartment or private housing, you have the family and friend type of accommodation plan, you have the basement type of accommodation plan, and so many other accommodation plans. But these ones I mentioned here are the most important and the most relevant to the best of my knowledge. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned 1 or 2 things from this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share. If you still want to ask more questions about more types of accommodation plan, comment whatever video you want me to do, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.